What's up, YouTube? Welcome in for some more Gold Stake Balatro, and welcome back to the second installment of the challenge that seeks to answer the question, how feasible is it to win streak on the black deck on the Gold Stake in Vanilla Balatro? Let's take a look at our stats here. We currently have 0 wins under our belt. We played 2 games, I believe, last time we did this. This is a black deck only profile, as you can see by the name, black deck only. If we check our stats, you can see that we have used precisely 0 consumables in both rounds, bought 0 vouchers, and our jokers, this is why I said in the first episode, these stats are probably not going to matter until we have, you know, a non-zero amount of wins to our name, because if you take a look at our most played joker, or the joker that we've won the most with thus far, you'll see it's a loyalty card, which makes literally 0 sense for the black deck until you maybe look at the fact that Burglar also has some wins under its belt, and then maybe you make the connection there and that makes more sense. But for right now, loyalty card being the #1 black deck joker obviously makes no sense, so pay little mind to that. Anyway, let's get into the runs for today. I don't know, again, I don't know how many runs we're going to end up playing per episode, or if it's going to be like, you know, a set amount. I'm thinking it's just going to be however many I feel like playing on any given episode. But we'll see how far we can get. Maybe today's the day that we get a W, or maybe we just gather more info on what's good for the black deck. So we're definitely taking Buffoon Pack here. Ride the Bus is good, but A, it's worse because we have 3 hands, and B, more noticeably, it's rental. This is also rental, so both of these are just horrible long-term options. Let's take the Buffoon Pack and see if there's any scoring in here. We can't take rentals ante-1 in black deck, period, or otherwise we just go into permadebt. So the only liable option here, or the only viable option, I can speak English, smash like, is Cloud9, which if Cloud9 works, this is going to be phenomenal for us. But as I went over last time, going into the big blind with no scoring jokers, I like to say that you have about a coin flips chance to win the blind. You have about a 50-50 with 0 scoring jokers to win this big blind. It appears that we did hit the 50-50, so maybe we're getting a little bit lucky today. So that's pretty cool. We're going to get an extra $1 from the hand and $4 from Cloud9, as well as just the blind money. So we're going into the shop pretty wealthy. Wii Joker. See, this is something that I would be elated to see on any other Gold Stake run this early. First off, Wii Joker's hilarious. If you haven't played a Wii Joker run, play yourself a Wii Joker run. Wii Joker's a really fun joker to build around. There's a lot of funny synergies. He's just overall a chill guy. However, this is chips scaling, so for the time being, it's worse with less hands, obviously. We're not guaranteed if we need 3 hands, especially with the Monoclay. The Monoclay is going to be harder to get our scoring hands. If we don't have any plus mult, it's going to be harder on here to get the full houses, the straights, the flushes, etc. So there's no guarantee that we even get a chance to score 2s to scale this, but it's also chip scaling right now, which is like not what we need whatsoever. We just want plus mult at this point in the game, and we want it very badly. So we have 2 options here. We have the Swashbuckler, which is just a +3 overall, or we have a Perishable Crazy Joker. The rest of these, you know, the Mime is rental, so like we don't have anything in our deck that cares about Mime at all anyway. But even if for some reason I was like, oh, we're gonna force Baron, no, we're not, because it's Perishable Rental. The rental is like the more sad of the 2. And then Reserved is just the same problem as Cloud9 for right now. Like, Reserved is a lot of money, but it's less money on 3 hands, and it's also the fact that if we don't have, again, especially going into the Monoclay, if we don't have any plus mult scoring, we probably just die. So here's the question that we want to answer right now. Swash is not as good for right this second, but if we can survive this boss blind, you know, Swash is already like pretty decent early game plus mult. It's even better on the black deck because you have the extra joker slot. So if you get another expensive joker, this can be a lot of plus mult in the early game. Or we can take this crazy joker, which if we find a straight for this boss, we guaranteed win in 1 hand. No questions asked. But it's also, okay, so if we have 3 hands, 2 discards, how likely are we to draw into a straight for this to even win in 1 hand? I would say pretty not likely. On -1 hand size, we can cycle less cards anyway because of the -1 hand. I would say we're pretty much not likely at all to draw into a straight on like our first hand. Obviously, maybe if we cycle some hands to find our straight, then we can play our straight. But at that point, why don't we just play hands with the swash and then we keep the swash for, you know, bigger and better things as opposed to the crazy joker. Pretty much just helps us out right now and then is immediately just on the chopping block to be sell value. So let's go next. Immediately being proven wrong by the fact that we have 4 to a straight in the hand, but also just I'm gonna play the 2 pairs here because they're consistent. Keep track of if we draw a 10 or not. No 10 thus far, and we have 3 of a kind. So we win in 2 hands with swash. No, we don't. I'm an idiot. We did draw a straight, but it's on our last hand. I suppose if we used discards. No, we cycled 10 cards each time. If we used discards, we might not have even drawn the straight. Point is, we didn't draw the 10 until we were like very low in our deck, or not very low in our deck, but like we had to sift through quite a few cards to draw the 10 there, right? So maybe the 10 was not that great, or the crazy joker rather was not that great of a play. Hieroglyph is just a death sentence. I love going back in time, but when we're already at -1 hand, Hieroglyph is not super bueno. So here's an interesting option that I'm considering. Even Steven, I think it's just good this early in the game to have as many plus mult options as possible. So I'm thinking about grabbing Even Steven, and in fact, I'm going to grab Even Steven. I think instead of playing this small blind, I'm going to take this top-up tag and just see what's in the box. We get a foil blue joker. That's incredible. We get a droll joker, so we want to be playing flushes, and then swash, since we have so many jokers, is at +10 mult. I think that was... It's a little bit of hindsight 2020, because maybe if this foil blue joker was something different, then seeing a shop and getting the blind money would have been worth it there. But also with the top-up tag, you have to keep in mind that a lot of the times I like Mega Buffoon tag in the round 4 blind for gold stake runs. I don't think it's the best skip, and I think usually you have a better chance at victory if you were to just play the blind, get the blind money, see the shop. But maybe if you're low on money, so you're not getting blind money anyway, maybe if you like only have 1 scoring joker because your shops have been poor, I'm not opposed to taking a Mega Buffoon pack here, but I do think top-up tag is better because the jokers that it gives you, while they are forced to be common, will always be stickerless. So you see the foil blue joker and the droll joker, they're not rental, perishable, eternal, anything like that. They're just, you know, they're kind of just chilling out, which is pretty cool. All right, let's go next. Probably just looking to play flushes for the time being. Let's see if we can top deck the spades. We do indeed top deck the spades. This should win with foil bluey in combination with the swash and the droll joker. Okay, so now we're pretty stable with our econ. Do we take the duo? Well, if we take the duo, that's maybe really good for the late game. But it's perishable, so actually, no, it's not. And for right now, we don't care about the duo at all, so let's not take the duo. Again, Hieroglyph is a death sentence. It gives us 2 hands. 2 hands is going to be probably completely fine for the rest of this ante, and maybe fine for the ante after it, but starting at ante 4 and above, 2 hands is just not going to be feasible, most likely, unless you get insanely lucky. To the Moon is interesting. Does To the Moon pay for itself? If we were to buy To the Moon and nothing else here, it would actually not pay for itself immediately, because we want this to be generating, at the very minimum, $3 every round, and this would be generating $3 off of the interest, because we'd be buying this, then going down to 19 from the rental tag, we would get $3 of interest. But it still doesn't really pay for itself, because it costs us $1 additionally. There's an argument for To the Moon here. I think if we were already at interest cap, To the Moon is just a slot in immediately, or even if we had like $24 or $25, I'd probably pick up To the Moon. Honestly, still probably not a bad play, but I'm not super convinced to take it yet. We are going to want an econ joker after Cloud 9 goes away. To the Moon is not the greatest econ joker of all time when it's rental, but it's still profitable as a rental, so maybe we just pick him up. And then I do want to take this Spectral Pack, and the Spectral Pack keeps us at the same amount of interest. This is a horrible pack. We have no Eternals, and even if we had Eternals, there's not really anything here that we would be looking to copy whatsoever, or give Polychrome whatsoever. So this is a Skipperooski. That was just a waste of $4. That is Super unfortunate, but spectral packs are my kryptonite, so you already know I had to check that John out. Anyway, let's go for the hearts since we have 4 to a hearts flush. We do not see the hearts. Let's try one more time for the hearts. Actually got super close to just winning on a pair there. That's actually kind of tragic that we didn't, but it is what it is. Chat, how is I say chat like I'm streaming. This is a recorded YouTube video. Hello, YouTubists. YouTubists, how was our 4th of July? If you are an American viewer of mine, did y'all have a good 4th of July? Let me know in the comments. Faceless Jonkler, probably not great. If we're going for flushes for right now, what are the odds that we're going to be discarding 3? I mean, if we're going for flushes, we're going to be discarding 4 cards. If we have 4 to a flush, we're going to only be discarding 5 cards. If we have 3 to a flush, what are the probability that out of those cards, 3 of them are faces? It's not likely. It's more likely if we screw up our flush hand to get econ, but maybe on the black deck, we really don't want to be doing that. This grabber is also like an auto buy on the black deck, obviously, because it gets us to 4 hands. And then once we're at 4 hands, it's kind of just, can you pilot a normal gold stake deck? Because once you're at 4 hands, 2 discards. It's actually a bit better than a normal gold stake deck because you have the 4 hands and then you also have an extra joker slot. So I think this grabber, it is again really awkward with the to the moon here, but I think it is completely fine to just snag that and then go next. It's going to pay for itself since we're getting it this early because of the extra hand econ that it generates, but it's also just very nice to be able to score an extra hand sometimes. So I think that's going to end up paying dividends is what I'm trying to get at. Okay. So Cloud9 is disabled. Really sad because we don't get any money from it now. Supernova. Could we pivot pairs at this point? Because I pretty much only want to be playing Supernova if we're playing pairs, which honestly, for the time being, Supernova, foil blue Jonkler, we have the grabber, so we have the normal amount of hands. We can keep Droll Joker in the lineup just because it's adding to our swash value. Honestly, I think we could be completely fine to pivot pairs here, so let's try and do that. They're consistent, you know, they score a lot of points with a +1 Joker slot. I think the consistency of pair builds is why they're meta, right? I mean, they have a lot of synergies, there's a lot of things that you can do with pairs, but it's also just like, when are you not going to top deck a pair? Said the man who just now didn't top deck a pair, but that's okay. I'm going to play the slightly worse pair just to give Supernova a little bit more scaling. It actually still won. I don't know how that even is possible. It scored like way more. Am I an idiot? What happened there? Okay. Droll Joker's worthless now because we have Gold Joker. This is not, you know, it's -$3 and then +$4, but that's still profit. We need to be sort of cosplaying Mr. Krabs whenever we play the black deck, and we need to be, you know, pinching as many pennies as possible, so to speak. So I don't mind a rental Gold Joker on this build, especially since in 2 hands we made pretty much the amount of money that we would need to make the boss blind. Also, I figured out how we scored so high. It was even Steven. I'm kind of an idiot. Okay, so we're at $37. We can spend 12, but we can actually spend 6 because we have 2 rental tags. So let's look in one of these celestial packs. I think Venus is probably the best thing in here. We were looking for Mercury. Venus is kind of sad, but it's not the worst, I suppose. Okay, let's just play pairs and try and get out. 3K. This is gonna get me no Steven Molt, but maybe we don't care for the time being. Just because that's extra pair scaling for Supernova. I think I'm cool with that. I think I'm cool to sandbag a little bit just to make Supernova a bit more consistent in the long term here. Okay, so now we've scored 8,400 in 3 hands, so we're probably going to need all 4 hands to score out of this small blind, and then after that we're going to need some more scoring, whether it's rotating certain jokers out, whether it's scaling Mercury, which is probably our best course of action, or what have you. Clearance sale is huge on black deck because it allows us to conserve money while still being able to spend a lot to keep up with black deck. I actually love that. We're getting very lucky with this run, it would assume, or it would appear. God, I can't speak English, man. It's been a week. So we can once again spend $6 less. We would normally be able to spend $22 in the shop before hitting interest cap. So 22 minus 6 is we can spend, what, $16 in the shop? So we can buy this clearance sale and then take both of these packs. Let's do that. That works for me. We'll take the standard first, I guess. Okay, that blue seal is phenomenal. We want to be searching for that every single chance that we get. And then what's in the box? Ooh. Here, it allows us to scale our supernova much more, which makes pair more consistent, and it's also just better econ, right? At least, at the very least for the time being, but probably in general, because this gold joker, is assuming that nothing weird with interest happens, where we have to account for like gold joker bringing us below interest, so it technically breaks even. This gold joker is making us $1 net, like $1 net per round, right? Whereas this burglar, if we said we maybe need to play 4 hands to beat this round, well, burglar gives us +3. If we have 7 hands, we play 4. We're making $3 off of burglar as opposed to $1 off the gold joker. I think this is just a slot in. It's better plus mult for the swashbuckler as well because of the extra sell value since it's not rental. I think that's a completely fine play for us to make. Now we only have 1 rental tag. Could we... I mean, there's not really a reason for us to take a reroll here. We actually couldn't take a reroll here if we wanted to. We could buy a troubadour. Not sure why we would want to do that. Maybe to see our blue seal slightly more often. How often is even Steven mattering? As well as the +1 hand. Or like, how much does a hand matter? If we're playing pairs, probably quite a lot, right? Because the +2 hand size, we're only seeing that at the beginning of the game, as opposed to an extra hand is 5 more cards that we can cycle. So this is allowing us to see 2 more cards from our deck. An extra hand is allowing us to see 5 is what I'm getting at. I think the troubadour is not worth there. Charm tag, also never worth, I would say. Go next. Okay, now we just want to be cycling down as much as possible to try and find this blue seal. This blue seal is going to be crucial to our game plan. We need to be scaling Mercury if we want any semblance of getting a W. So with that being said, let's maybe play a slightly crappier pair here. We'll hold 2. We didn't need to hold 2 in hand actually at all. Okay, I did not get punished for it. What is happening? Is this black deck gold stake? I should not be getting this lucky right now. Okay, we find our blue seal. We get the Mercury card. We cash out $14 after paying 3. Let's immediately pop this Mercury card. So we're gonna be. I'm gonna do this math like every single time we're in the shop. We have effectively $40, so we can spend 15 in this shop. So this would be 9. A reroll would be 14. So maybe we're not looking in both of these packs if we're intending to reroll. Do we need to reroll here though? Probably not. Let's take a look in the Celestial pack. We once again get Venus instead of Mercury. That's actually really sad, but we'll continue to scale it just because levels are levels. I would love to see more blue seals, so let's maybe open this pack. This would have been really good with that Wii Joker earlier, but also if we took the Wii Joker, we probably just died. So maybe we're not like too upset about seeing this. Is there an argument for taking random gold cards? I think when we have an Econ Joker, probably not. We have an Econ Joker and we have an unfixed deck. We probably just want to see this blue seal as much as possible. I think the gold is kind of diminishing returns if it maybe blocks a blue seal or makes it harder for us to see the blue seal in general because there's more cards in our deck. I'm sure there's an argument that you could make for taking this. Let me know in the comments, I guess, if you would take this in your run. I'm gonna just straight up pass here. That feels really sad, but it's okay. It's okay. All right, once again, we're just searching out that blue seal while also trying not to die here. So let's play a couple of good hands just to make sure that we have points to get us out. And then once we get close to the scoring threshold, maybe we just bin a couple of high cards. Yeah, because we just really want to see the blue seal, like very badly. Okay, the next high card wins, so we're not going to be able to see the blue seal. So let's maybe just play another pair to scale Supernova. Very sad, but it is what it is. Can't expect to see a blue seal every single time if you have a 50 card plus deck. Popcorn is better than Steven here by a considerable margin, but it's also rental, so I don't love it. We have $22. We have $19 to spend in this shop, so let's go down to $15 to spend. We could make a glass card. We could suit change, or we could spin. Probably spinning is just the best thing here, which feels really bad. Let's crack the standard pack. Just really want to see gold seal. See, this is the same thing as like the gold card. I am slightly more inclined to take a gold seal just because we can enhance it, and then we get the money and the points, as to a gold card is just the money. This also doesn't need us to be holding it in hand. God, the voice cracks are insane. This also doesn't care about it being held in hand, so we can like play this as a part of a pair. We can still be cycling through our deck. With this, I think a gold seal is fine. Could take a speculative photo. I'm gonna say probably not. Grimbo is much, 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 much better than what's it called here? Damn. Steven. God, forgive me, chat. We could also, if we want to lose $1 of interest, we could consider taking ice cream here. I don't think we need it right now. Maybe we need it down the road. We're also going up against the tooth, so we're probably losing a lot of money as it is. Maybe we don't want to take the ice cream. Yeah, the tooth is really rough. I think on the tooth, we just try to win, and maybe we forget about the blue seal. Because especially with as many hands as we're going to need to be playing already to win on the tooth, we probably just, like, don't want to be losing all of our doubloons, so to speak. So let's just play to get out. We're still going to be losing $1 of interest, it looks like, maybe even more. But that's okay. Yeah, we are losing $1 of interest. That's not horrible. That could definitely have been worse, and we are going back up to interest cap. This is just going to be kind of a dry shop for us to spend in. So we have $13 normally, so we can spend $10 in the shop. So to me, Malin's useless. Malin's normally really good, but we have an Eternal Burglar, so we're never getting discards unless we're spending another Joker slot on like Drunkard or something. That's never happening. So immediately to me, let's just rip Celestial Pack looking for Mercury. That's technically a Mercury, so we'll take that. And then let's rip Mega Arcana, see what's in here. We could Fool for a Wheel. I'm thinking we probably just Devil into Fooling for a Devil, get some extra money, and ensure that that blue seal, whenever we hit it, is monetary value as well as the planet value. Okay. Now we're back to just cycling hella cards so that we can see the blue seal more often. Kind of a tragic top deck. I guess not really, because we have another pair of queens, but it's... I mean, if we're cycling anyway, we're probably not too hung up about that. Okay, one more hand wins, and maybe we cycle some stinkers. Can't cycle too many when we're playing this high card, but it is money positive, so that's kind of fine. Ooh. I don't know if this wins, so I'm just going to Devil the King, just in case. I think this does win. Tragic. Okay. Still getting a lot of money, though, so we can't really complain. I mean, there's like no point in not taking this, right? It's the one detriment. So Eternals are never a snap pick in Gold Stake, by the way. If you ever see an Eternal and you're like, yeah, I need this. The main thing, since we're at $44, we're making interest every single round. We're like maintaining a bunch of money that we can spend in each shop. We're completely fine to just take this. But the main drawback to something to like random Eternals in Gold Stake is you want to make sure that you're not spending, like overspending for them. Like negative rares, negative uncommons will be upwards of $10. I think that might have been... No, that wouldn't have been upwards of $10, but that would have been $9 on clearance, without clearance sale. So you just want to be mindful of that. There's a lot of negatives where you're like, oh, it's a negative card, I have to take it. And that might actually be a bad play, because you might be spending a lot more money than it's actually worth, and that might make you sad in the future. But here, like I said, we're making a lot of money as it is. I think we're completely fine to take that. This big blind is maybe a little bit scary. So is the Serpent, honestly, but I don't think it's that bad. Probably skipping that pack, which is really unfortunate. We do get a Hermit here. That's fantastic. So we can maybe reroll a couple of times. Delayed Grat! Yay! Trading card! Yay! And Golden Ticket is bad since we don't have Hanging Chad. So let's maybe just go next. Pretty much what we have to do to maintain interest. Let's look for that blue seal, shall we? Shall we? Bro has been a little bit shy ever since we pulled him in that first pack. We do have to cycle a high card here, which is really sad, but we have the extra molt from Misprint, so maybe not that sad. Let's cycle the queens. We essentially just want to be cycling 5 every single time. You're probably tired of me yapping about it, but like this blue, we need to see this blue seal, and if we see like something like a death card or something like that, even we maybe even just want to like copy it, because Mercury cards are going to be a big... Finding a times molt joker is also going to be a big part of us winning, but finding Mercury cards are going to be a huge part of us winning as well. So we have $17 to spend in the shop. 9 of it right here, 5 on a reroll, 4 on a joker. That sounds good to me. Let's open the Mega Arcana first. We can Hermy Fool for more money to spend. That's perfectly fine, especially since pretty much everything else in that pack was kind of buns. Let's take a look in here. We could Judgment, we could Tower. I don't feel like Judgmenting. I guess there's an argument for Judgmenting the Swash. Could also make a Stone, but how much of a difference is a Stone actually going to make? Probably not much. We're already having this much trouble drawing our blue seal. We've even only drawn our gold seal, I think, 1 or 2 times. Let's maybe just sell this. I don't know. I'm not sure how integral our Swashbuckler plus molt is to scoring. I think this might just be a tower angle. If I was maybe paying attention a bit more, that could have been a judgment angle, but I was not, so it is not right now. Driver's license is interesting. However, since we don't have many enhancements right now, especially not the 16 required to unlock this is more than likely for the next like ante and a half, maybe 2 antes, just sitting in our joker slots doing nothing. And we're making a lot of money to where we can reroll a bunch and maybe see some other times molt jokers. So I think that's maybe not an incredible play. I'm going to space my rerolls out a little bit just so I'm not spending a ton of money, and we'll just go next here. I completely forgot about the boss, so we are going to be sacking a hand here. Oh, maybe not. Wait, I might be the luckiest man alive. Okay, I am unfortunately not. We're going to have to cycle a high card here, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay, so right now, I mean, you can see the numbers over here. We're still in a relatively good spot in terms of scoring. We are making many more chips than we are molt, so this is kind of the point where we need to be really on the lookout for a times molt joker. Magician is great just because money hits can make or break runs, especially on the black deck. Telescope is fantastic because it's going to make missing that blue seal that we've been talking about this whole time a little bit less sad. Let's take the standard pack looking for, yep, another blue seal. Can reroll here. We would be down to 35 bucks. So we would have, what, $7 to spend? Chad? We have the gold seal. We have the rock. We can make glass for endgame. I think Chad is just always better than Swash here. I'm completely fine with Chad on a pair build. We even, I mean, this even works with the magician card that we picked up for pretty much no reason other than yay generic value, right? I don't think there's ever going to be a point in your gold stake runs where, especially with a stickerless Chad, I don't think there's ever going to be a point in your gold stake runs where you're going to come across a hanging Chad and you're going to be like, damn, I really wish this was something else, man. I think you're always just going to see Chad and go, yay, woohoo, yippee, you know? All right, let's play the pair of aces. Missing out on that Swash molt is actually like somewhat noticeable, but that we should still be fine. We do need a times molt joker just like desperately here. Something like Blackboard that synergizes well with pair would just be fantastic here. We have level 5 pair, we have telescope. I don't think we can afford to get greedy here. I think we just play the pair of 10s and we miss out on a planet and some gold. Actually, we probably would have been fine. Okay, we would have almost assuredly been fine, but that's okay. Extra money. We have telescope, guys. Speaking of which, snap into a Mercury card. Let's take the Arcana pack, hoping for money. Let's take the Emperor. Why not? Okay, this Judgment really wants to come with, which is sort of scaring me because that means there's probably something kind of yummy in there. But there could also still not be something yummy in there, and this game might just be trolling me. In fact, this game probably is trolling me. We'll see. Pair of aces, yummers. Once again, pair of aces, yummers. This lover's probably not doing anything, but like, I don't know. Maybe if we come across driver's license again, it'll give us some value, so maybe we just pop it for like no reason. We have a blue seal on a 9. We have some enhanced queens. Let's just pop this John on a queen. And then we can cycle it. Still low on mult, yes. Yeah, still like very low on mult. That is somewhat okay, but it's going to become more and more of an issue. So we had 2 hands left over, and we're just barely scoring out of this blind. So ideally, we want some more scoring on the next couple of blinds. Maybe the standard pack, when we have 2 blue seals now, is a little bit diminishing returns. We aren't hitting our blue seals, but I don't think that's a density of blue seals problem. I think that's just we've been getting so lucky this run that maybe the luck has to go elsewhere, or the bad luck has to show up elsewhere type of problem. I don't know if that made sense at all, but like y'all probably catch my drift. I think we can re-roll one more time without it being an issue. Holy hell. To-do list kind of funny here. I also haven't been paying attention to bosses at all just because I've been yapping so much. So this boss very easily could have been something like, you know, not the mouth, but I think it's the eye that doesn't allow you to play a hand more than once, and we could have just gotten turbo scammed. So that's my next piece of advice for for aspiring gold stakers out there. Read your damn boss blinds. Okay, so we would need... One hand was 20k just there, and that was on face cards. I don't know I didn't peep the misprint proc, but we probably need to just hit pair on every single one of our other hands to win this blind. I think if we hit one more high card, we are very much up shit's creek without a paddle, so to speak. Let's play the pair once again. Let's try and hold this blue seal. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We're at 70k. We need 50k to score. We're making 20k on a pair. We have 2 blue seals. Let's attempt to get both blue seals. If we have to sacrifice the pair of 10s to get out, that's fine. Ideally, it's not what we want to do. Okay, perfect. We don't have to. So let me sell this Judgment. We're getting some hanging Chad value. I just want to make sure that this scores out. It should get more than double what we need. Yeah, this definitely scores out. So we're getting hanging Chad value on the gold seal, and we're getting a gold card proc, and we're getting 2 Mercury cards. That went about as well as it could have. 15 bucks. Let me peep our boss real quick. Yeah, see, this guy is what I was really worried about. We're probably dead to him, actually, because we haven't picked up Director's Cut, to my knowledge. Is there a boss reroll skip? No. Yeah, I mean, Supernova, what could we get here to get us out of this? I think we would need pretty much exactly like Red Seal Glass to get us out of this, and a Times Mult Joker, probably both. Photo could also get us out of this. If we get a photo from the shop, we can just slot it in for To the Moon. And then if we put Glass on a face card, Photo Chad Glass gets us out. That's probably our best play. So maybe... I usually like getting seed money as soon as possible, but maybe since we need so many stars to align in our shops, maybe we don't pick up seed money right this instant. We'll grab Temperance. Okay, now that we're above 50 bucks, I'm just going to grab seed money. I think that's fine. Devil card. Nothing else here really tickles my fancy, so we'll do that. Let's maybe give 1 reroll. Polychrome Sly Joker. I'm actually... Ooh, To the Moon is such good econ right now. But I think we need times mult, even if it's like kind of shitty times mult. So we'll take the Sly Joker. Wow. No pair in the opener. That's crazy. I guess we're just cycling a straight. Okay. Big sad cycling a blue seal, but that's okay. Okay, so that was 50k. So yeah, even if we just get glass, we might be fine. But ideally, hanging Chad glass, just so that there's not any potential shenanigans happening. 14 bucks. We get the Mercury card from the blue seal. Let's pop another Mercury card from this pack, since again we have telescope. Probably don't need the standard pack. Maybe there's like a red seal in here that we care about. No. The purple seal that we don't care about at all. Seeing double. The eye is 220k. I don't think seeing double's it. Death card is maybe useful. This is looking like kind of a yikes, chat. This is looking like kind of a yikes. Okay, yeah, 55k on a pair. Let's use our death card on our blue seal, just because there's not really a better hit for this pack. I don't want to play the flush, so we are going to have to keep this 10 in hand, which is maybe a bit awkward, but I mean, barring like photo chat and shit like that, which we don't have, score's about the same. Score's actually exactly the same. Okay, we get another Mercury card. We really want to see photo or glass into a face card here. Yeah, it's not looking too good, chat. It's not looking too good, I ain't gonna lie. Justice card here would be great. No Justice card. Take the temp. Vamp. No. Four Fingers ain't it. Fib ain't it. Throwback. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. I guess Throwback is more times. We don't have any glass, so maybe we slot in Throwback for Hanging Chad. Hanging Chad is most likely not making a difference whatsoever. I think that's a fair play. I don't think it's a winning play at all. I think we still die here, almost. Almost assuredly. But, you know, there's a chance. Do you have a steel card in hand? Let's play the high card right off the bat. We leveled up 3 of a kind at the beginning of the game a little bit, so maybe there's a chance that 3 of a kind could show up. Huge. Nice. Now we either have to cycle something that won't impact our score at all, or we have to play a pair of 5s. I mean, the chips aren't our problem, right? It's literally just we don't have hardly any mult. And also, like, that problem is exacerbated by Supernova being at plus 46 for pairs and being at single digits or below for every single other hand in the game. This boss is kind of just a death sentence for us, unfortunately. Can play the pair here. It's probably not gonna. There's probably not gonna be much of a better opportunity for us to, but this feels pretty bad. This is scoring like 100k absolute tops. Yeah, it scored 80k. Can play a flush here. There's a slight chance that we can maybe squeak this out, but we would have to get extraordinarily lucky. Like, luckier than the rest of the run combined. And I don't say that lightly, because this has already been a lucky run and a half. What would we need to win here? We've already played high card, pair, 3 of a kind. We could play 2 pair here, followed up with a full house. How many jacks do we have? We have 3 jacks. We could play 2 pair 9s and queens, and then hope for a full house with jacks. Maybe since we have the full house, we just play the full house, and then we hope for a 2 pair of down the road. And then what are we playing? Straight is like the only thing that we could play, unless we get astronomically lucky with our jack top decks, and we could play a 4 of a kind jack somehow. Maybe since we have an extra 9 in the deck. Wait, we actually have like multiple extra 9s in the deck, right? Yeah, we have 7 9s in the deck, and we have right now 2 in the deck. How many 10s? 1 in the deck. Maybe we do this, and then we can play 4 of a kind 9s potentially. Let's try this. Molt trigger would be huge. Money trigger's not what I needed there. But I mean, if we get out of this blind, that's going to be generational for our success. I think we can play 2 pair, and then I think we just can't play anything else. Unless we get an insane... Unless we hit, like, the luckiest straight top deck of all time, hitting, like, essentially 8-5-4. Or another 9-8-5, or some shit like that. Straight here is, like, completely improbable. Could we get out with this 2 pair? I think it's impossible, right? Just because of Supernova. If we get a very high misprint hit, we get out with 2 pair. 21k is the, or 22k pretty much is the absolute minimum. That would put us at 213. I mean, any hand after this wins, but we're not getting another hand. We played high card, we played pair, we're about to play 2 pair. Played 3 of a kind, played flush, played full house. We can play straight, we can play straight flush, we can play 4 of a kind. And that's all she wrote. So we just have to hope for the highest misprint proc of all time. Please misprint. You've got to be joking. If we had played, bro, are we dead ass? 219, 755. I'm 45 points off of the W. If we had played 1 more 2 pair this entire game, or if we had hit +1 more on misprint, that was the highest misprint proc that we could have gotten and still lost. I'm actually irate over that. I'm so upset. I'm so upset. That's such bullshit, man. Okay. Well, now we can't play anything else. 2 pair doesn't score. High card doesn't score. Pair doesn't score. We have 4 to a flush. Nothing else scores here. That's such dog shit, dude. That's actually so dumb. I'm so pissed at that, man. I mean, it's like hindsight is 2020. If we would have played like, why would I have ever played 2 pair this entire run anywhere when we have Supernova pairs? But it's just so frustrating that we could have played literally 1 more 2 pair, and we would have just won. We would have just won this boss. That's so frustrating, chat. Okay. Can't win them all, I guess. Is there anything that I'm missing here? 2 pair, 4 to a flush, 3 to a straight. Can I mess with any of these jokers to impact my scoring? No. Molt trigger on the lucky card won. If we had like any other enhancements in the deck, if I would have hit rock, we won. If I would have hit this lucky jack, we would have won. Well, potentially. That's so frustrating. Okay, whatever, man. Play my pair. All right. Well, we did get a high score, and we actually almost won the run. I think we still would have lost ante 8, but it feels a little bad, especially when we got the money hit. We would have been like somewhat fine in the next shop. We could have crawled our way out of this hole, is what I'm saying. I think we probably, it's very ante 8 boss dependent as well. There's definitely a very non-zero chance that we would have died ante 8, but that's a little bit tragic. Okay. I'm not playing another run. I just didn't go to main menu accidentally. All right, well, We have a new high score to beat. We have a new personal best on the black deck only gold stake profile. And we have some consumable data. Blue Joker looks to be our most consistent Joker, along with Burglar, To the Moon, Supernova, Swash. Pear is our most consistent consumable by a mile, which is pretty cool. Hermie, yeah, all the money tarots are like what gave us the most strength, it looks like. Black Hole's our only used spectral card, and then Grabber, yeah, pretty much all of the econ vouchers, and then like consistency vouchers for that run. Made it work. All right. Little frustrating, but not completely dissatisfied with that run. I feel like that was a pretty good black deck run. Well, what did we learn from this? You need to get lucky. Plain and simple, you need to get lucky. We won the coin flip going into the big blind Jokerless. We had our econ set up very early on, which allowed us to be able to sack some hands to scale a pair build. We found Burglar. If we didn't find Burglar, we would not have been able to pivot pairs, because there was many a time where we needed to use all of our hands to get out of the blind. So I'm not completely convinced that that was a skill-based well, it wasn't a win anyway, but like if it had been a gold stake win, I'm not completely convinced that that would have been entirely skill-based. I think that was most, if not all, RNG. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I know we did 2 runs last time, but this run was pretty long. I feel like 45 minutes is already completely fine for a video. If we were to do like another run, W voice crack, and I got like even remotely close to where we just got, this would be like an hour-and-a-half video, and I feel like that's kind of obnoxious outside of like high score videos. Let me know if you guys are cool with these videos being longer, because I could absolutely make them longer if y'all were willing to sit through them. But just as for right now, I think the current length that we have going on is fine. Pause. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. I don't know when we'll be back with this series, but I'm going to try and keep it relatively consistent every couple days, every few days, every week. I don't know. We'll be back with the series. I just don't know when. So, you know, turn your notifs on. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And that's all I have for y'all. Hope y'all's holiday weekend was and is going great. Stay safe. Sleep well. Have a good one, chat. Treat others nicely. And that starts with yourself. Love you guys. Thank you for watching.
I try so hard to be the bigger man. You